Tourism has this enormous opportunity to attract philanthropic money or engagement through visitors.
When you call it travel as philanthropy, everybody says, what are you talking about? Yeah. But when you get to explain it a little further to them, then they say, oh, but we've been doing that. And you find two operators telling you, we helped the community to build a classroom there, we helped communities to build a... They're actually just not telling you that our travelers helped to build that classroom.
It could be anything in that scale, from really personal, private, small donations that makes a change to structural investments that creates a future.
And it's actually one of the areas where tourism has benefited communities most.
Philanthropy is sort of a theory or a funny word to many. It's about engaging on a deeper level.
Traveler donations to the needs of a destination.
In our lives, it's tied into creating real happiness. The happiness of giving something, and especially the happiness of giving something unconditionally, may even create more happiness and more fulfillment.
It is a fact that when operators go into an area to work with communities, they always have an advantage over many things. They know how the industry works, they have the connections, they have the experience. The community knows nothing except that they live in a wilderness area that happens to have an attraction in it, which can be used for tourism.
Destinations were not employing the local community. And the only job that was available for the local people here was nothing but the askari, the guys who look after the property at night. We wanted to be involved much more than that.
You don't hire trained staff from somewhere else. You hire them in the community and you train them. Obviously, it'll take a little longer time to build up that level of quality in that work, but the investment is more resilient.
Aquí había antes mucha pobreza, solo se trabajaba en agricultura, las mujeres haciendo nada más los oficios de la casa.
We had to make our strategies to evolve together, working together into better quality of life, a better quality of entrepreneurship between the community and the hotel.
Jalela suave. Ok, tranquilo, ahí viene suavecito. Si quieres la jalas, Gilbert, ahí, si me das el volado. Yo empecé aquí en Islita en 1997 a trabajar. Trabajo en áreas verdes.
Our staff is about 85% is local. And this is maybe the best way in which the community have their benefit. More than 50% of the gross income that comes to the hotel stays in the community.
Yo prácticamente salí de trabajos de campo, trabajaba en fincas ganaderas, para venir acá a aprender lo del turismo. Acá he recibido capacitaciones entre inglés y mantenimiento de jardines, riego. Actualmente también estamos con un proyecto ahí de una microempresa que están haciendo de servicios musicales y también hemos recibido mucho apoyo por parte de Ponte Islita ahora para ir saliendo adelante. Brindamos servicios acá al Hotel Ponte Islita en el restaurante. Gracias.
Everybody, of course, is winning. We offer quality of life, but also we are offering training for better quality of living to the people that are working for us, but also living in the nearby areas.
And it is the responsibility of the tour operator to try and bring up the community. Not only to tell them about what they're going to get. If you get into a deal with me, I will pay you so many dollars per bed night. I will pay you so much for leasing your land. And then let the community sit back and wait to be paid that much money. No, I think they have a responsibility to bring up the community to understand how the business of tourism works.
Sí, a mí sí, porque ya yo soy comerciante. Yo vengo, lo pesco, lo empaco y se lo entrego al hotel. De eso vivo. A mí sí me interesa muchísimo. Comencé a los 14 regando jardines en el hotel. Trabajé en mantenimiento, trabajé en salón. Ya, y ahora tengo mi propia microempresa y entonces proceso marisco y todo y se lo vendo a ellos. Ellos fueron los de la idea. Esta máquina me la financió el hotel. Ellos son los que están respondiendo en el Banco Nacional. Si yo no pago, ellos tienen que pagarla. Entonces el empaque al vacío. Ahí está sellado. Aquí está listo para ir a entregar al hotel.
They can help to manage it. They can provide services within the industry. They can provide guiding services. They can actually understand what is the process for a tourist to leave their home in America and decide that I'm going to come to wilderness camp. There's a lot that goes on in between.
Tourism should drive really good business with very good products, income generation, job creation. I think one future for sustainability in small-scale projects in communities is that local entrepreneurship.
This bottle is for guests. And then I come to use for trees planting. Basically ilikuwa imenisaidia sana kwa hii kazi kwa sababu ilikuwa imenipea kama hii project ilikuwa yangu. Sasa ilikuwa naendelea hivi hata tena tu ilikuwa inanisaidia sana kwa hiyo pesa sana kuja kufanyia hii kazi. Hata tena hii miti umefanya wada mingi sana kwa watu wengine wageni wote ikikuja hapa mara kuja kununua hii miti yangu. Hapo tena nimeona hata ilikuwa imenipea sasa maoni ya kunisaidia sana kwa hii kazi. Kama hakuna hii kazi hakuna biashara nyingine tu nasaenda tu kuchunga ng'ombe kwa Manyata. Kwa sababu hakuna kazi nyingine tu najua kwa hii kazi kwa sio kama hii ya miti. Hata ikitaka tu nalipa ile watu wenye sana chunga hiyo ng'ombe yangu sana ndio utapata pesa kutoka miti. Napata pesa mingi sana. Sasa siko na control 150 ilikuwa nimenunua kwa miti. Naona miti sasa kama ni hai kwa binadamu. Mahali hakuna miti hakuna hai kwa sababu kazi mingi sana ndio napatanga kwa msituni.
If you build a capacity in tree planting, that can be turned into a business for the community. So if you as a visitor pay for 5 trees to be planted, you're actually paying for a product in a business.
Bisera na ngurdo neku miyara ba biashara sidera rango ba yamu na biashara wala
mana idamu na ndoki no nilaya kunyero biani lo reto biengara ino ninyangunya ngiteng do ini lo alip neku no kigend biasada me kure no arba yani jogi ndayel de grande miragage adore se go gini na yena itasada kaon endoki angai na ino yasi.
Very good.
I think so.
Do you know what does white mean?
What does it mean?
White mean peace.
Peace?
Yeah. Red?
Yeah.
Danger?
Yeah. Black, anything?
Black? Yes. Our color.
Skin.
Oshi weke dole nyangisho ngunu adwa manyat nek dole oshi yoga na kenyoro lenge leku alambe ko ngwa kra pashe ngoro tara nenyor masa ana adwendo sdeni kiara siyo.
It's not really donation, it's an art of recognizing quality. I want to support people here, and I've seen women working there.
There's some initial money needed to build up this cultural support project. You need a house or a project site, you need some tools, you need someone to train, community, and a few other things. That initially may be a donation. That be part of either philanthropy or corporate social investments.
Bueno, el arte que hacemos aquí lo vendemos. Para nosotros es una fuente de ingresos, ¿verdad?
People can learn to be creative, and that helps not only to make groups of artists, but also makes people capable of being leaders in the community, capable of making little enterprises. And so creativity and art really, we felt it really helps development.
Es un orgullo en realidad, nos sentimos, yo creo que todas, ¿verdad? Muy orgullosas. Yo tengo 76 años y hasta ahora yo he podido desarrollarme así.
With any nonprofit organization, a challenge is finances. One advantage that this organization has is that it was based on tourism. So right there we had a market, so we were able to bring tourists here. The tourists learn from the cultural and environmental issues in the area. What the tourists pay, a little percentage stays with the organization to help support environmental education, English classes, after-school programs, libraries, artisans, all these different other projects.
Al centro de aprendizaje, a ese les ha favorecido mucho a los niños y a la comunidad. Yo quise tener voluntarios para ver, para los muchachos, que ellos compartieran y aprendieran más el inglés. Me ayuda así con lo que son ingresos.
They are coordinating programs, environment education where they go to schools weekly, after school program where they're with the kids weekly. I mean, it's a long-term program. So we look for people that have that time.
I found this place, STLC, on the internet. I've always been very interested in getting to know other cultures, how people live in other countries.
So it gives me more exposure, and it's a place that I feel like volunteering, it means something.
Nosotros la ayudamos a ellos y ellos nos ayudan a nosotros, porque ellos allá no tienen árboles ni animales, y en cambio aquí vienen a ver los árboles y animales y nos enseñan mucho el inglés y nos enseñan la cultura de ellos.
It's a small area, there's not very much opportunity for education, so bringing people from abroad with knowledge from other places about the world will offer more to the people in Sarapiquí.
Aquí la chiquita fue descuidó la mano y resulta que se le soltó la mano y nos fue, le atropelló un carro. ¿Por qué? Porque no teníamos la acera todavía. Es muy importante esta acera. Duramos 5 años y en esos 5 años vinieron estudiantes de varios países. El turismo ayuda mucho porque en las comunidades fuimos muy quitados para la ayuda. Y por eso sin la ayuda del turismo no hubiéramos hecho eso, no hubiéramos terminado.
Volunteering in itself is, in a way, it's philanthropic, because it's a little bit for yourself too, but you are working without expecting anything back.
I might be the role model of this place. I think it's true. Being given a camp like this to run, it's not very easy. Women are always under the men, always. But if you accepted to get education, at the end of the day, people will respect you. Because I guess right now, in the entire community, people respect me, and I think they're changing an attitude of giving girls education.
Being educated means that you have, a shift in the way you perceive life.
I think I have realized one thing, that when Maasai women are being given empowerment, they can do it.
the economic situation in our village is very poor. 127 pupils in one classroom due to shortages of classrooms.
We get kids from America or some other places, then we use them for community service projects. There are a lot of people who want to give back. Just to start a classroom. We started with the roofing level, and then the village, they finished it off. Because you don't also to create kind of total dependency.
When we look at this issue of sustainability, it's about people having that capacity. You don't want to be patriarchal and say, well, if you let us have this, we'll build you a school. It should be very much engaging them and having to deal with the capacity of how do you use money for the benefit of everybody.
We gave them the land to put their camp, and they gave us money. From the tourist money, we build these classes for our kids, latrines for our kids. In the school, we get boreholes. We are progressing. We know what to do with that money. The tour company, they are not follow anything again. They are just helping us, and then they stay far away. We have a lot of things to do. So the money is becoming too small, but it's better than nothing. On our side, we are progressing now because we have our school.
Sometimes it's easy to make yourself look good because you can be, maybe you've got a good product, you're bringing a lot of people, it's a high-end kind of operation, and you can put money into the schools, put money into showcase kinds of things that look good. As a tour company, it's much easier to do that than to try to deal with that community.
They just build something to make them look good and for them to use for their own brochure, for their own benefit, but they don't really exist in the community.
A lot of operators receive this kind of donations from travelers, and they just go to the community and tell the community, we want to build you a borehole, or we want to build a classroom for you. And they never really, community doesn't know exactly how much was donated, who donated it, and where it has gone to. They just accept what they have received. So we end up with a situation of handouts. And Travelers Philanthropy must never be handouts to community.
The other danger is that philanthropy, again, creates a demand. And if you don't have the supply, which is money, coming over time, you create mistrust in the community. So you start projects, you can't finish them, and they're standing there like skeletons, and you wait for the next person to come and give sometime in the future.
When they came, we built the last house, that one. Yes.
Which is unfinished yet.
Unfinished yet, yes.
What's keeping it from being finished?
Yeah, the problem was the financially, because when the student went home, it is our responsibility to finish this.
So 2 students said, okay, we are going to contribute. When you go home, we send you money to buy to help to start the dispensary here. So they sent the money, and then we gave to the village. And then they bought all this stuff here, and they started like you can see now. That's the end of it.
And how long ago was this? Oh, I think it is now 1 year since we started to build this dispensary.
We've been building kind of white elephants. They never get finished. Like this one, it's 2 years now. Nothing has been done. And they don't have money.
These people will keep on hoping and hoping that at one time tourism, this money from the tourists will benefit us or will enhance us, will help to alleviate poverty. But that is not the case. You find the tourists are happy. They have no idea of what is happening. They are not aware.
1 and 2 decades ago, these people who started Travelers Philanthropy without knowing what it was, took donations without having any particular structure or any plan that had been communicated with the community, for example, in advance. They took the money because someone wanted to help a school, and then they went to the community and said, I have money for a school, regardless if a school was really what the community needed or wanted.
What actually ended up on the ground and what you can feel and see and touch is minimal. Why? Because there are so many assumptions that have been made about communities. That this is all communities want is to benefit. Provided you give them a benefit, it's going to work.
There is inequitable sharing of this dividend from tourism.
If you don't include local community in your conservation, your business will not run smoothly, and it is not even sustainable. Because what happens if the community decide to cultivate around your farm?
In the end results, the money paid by these tourists really doesn't reach to these people. From my own observation, my own research, my field studies, and all that I have found, tourism is sucking our blood. Tourism is exploiting us, and tourism is really killing us.
So when communities get into tourism, they must know what need they're addressing, and they must be clear and clearly understand where is it that they want to go with the business when they get involved with it. Without that clarity, they'll always get lost somewhere in the middle.
You can't barge into a community with a map and saying, guys, look here. But if you know community, if a community knows you, if you have already created a relationship of trust, when the community then realizes the scope of possibilities, they will discuss and come back, and we can say, well, this is what we can contribute with. Like healthcare, education, water, business centers, trading, communication.
Now we have community conservancies coming up. That's a light at the end of the tunnel.
I mean, this is, in a way, fairly high stakes, going in saying that you have land, we want to lease it, we'll pay for it, we'll guarantee 30 years of payments.
The community now owns extremely valuable real estate that wasn't very valuable before they made it valuable by making it a world-class tourist attraction. And they're the landlords of the white people who are operating a hotel on their land. Then after that, very, very subtly showing people all the other things can be at schools and scholarships for kids to get them out of there and get them someplace else, especially if you have it set up so that there's big incentives to come back.
So we're talking about here is a very large-scale, long-term project that partly can be driven by philanthropy for a long time.
And the one down below is the male. Yo soy nacido aquí en la zona. Las noches de luna nosotros solíamos salir con los compañeritos, mis amiguitos, a pasear, a jugar a la playa. Y había veces que nos encontrábamos las tortugas. Y nos montábamos hasta 5 o 7 nosotros. En una ocasión que nos montamos 10 en una jaula. Niños, estamos hablando, nosotros teníamos la edad de 5 años, 4 años. Nuestros padres hacían caminar por la noche para cazar las tortugas, por su carne, para huevos, vender, para soportar nuestras familias. De que se decretó Parque Nacional, esto a la comunidad le ha servido mucho el turismo y todo eso, es un gran progreso.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Bernie Brenes, Soy el gerente de Puerto Ecológico Caño Blanco. Esta es una estación de pasaje de turistas que van rumbo a la zona de Tortuguero a ver el desove de turistas. Aquí normalmente estamos recibiendo de 500 a 600 personas diarias en entrada.
Since the 1980s, tourism in Tortuguero has just grown incredibly, using turtles as a tourist attraction, essentially.
Traditionally, the way people went on the beach to watch the turtles lay their eggs was that they would walk along the beach with a guide looking for nesting turtles.
So what was happening was people would be walking, the turtles would be coming out, and they'd be disturbing the other turtles that were coming ashore to nest.
And then there was a study done that showed what everybody suspected all along, that when people did that, it scared the turtles and made the turtles go back into the ocean without laying eggs. So we said, okay, the obvious answer, rather than having them all wandering on the beach until they find a turtle, which could take hours, we'll just have a few trackers on the beach.
So a trained local person who was out on the beach with a radio, and he would be the one that was looking for the turtle, and then he would radio her location back to the tour group. And then obviously, you know, we've created this program, and then the next part was, well, how do you finance it?
So we came up with a real simple idea. Let the tourists who are visiting the turtles voluntarily pay for that program.
Brochures were created, and each brochure had a sticker asking the very people that are coming to look at turtles, so the tourists themselves, asking them to contribute to this program.
The message of the brochure is, don't let the turtles see you on the beach without a sticker. And the brochure cost $4.
And it was around 70% uptake, which was incredible.
And in that way, we were able to raise last year about $120,000, which went towards paying the salaries of a whole group of people from the community who worked as turtle spotters during the high season, and created a surplus of around $65,000.
Like so many things, it worked, but it didn't work the way we thought it was going to work at all.
Nosotros decidimos, ¿verdad?, desde el año pasado, con el programa de rastreadores, pues colaborar lo más posible, y lo que hicimos fue integrar los $4, igual que el resto de los hoteles.
The majority of people that did purchase a sticker were coming through a main hotel, and a lot of them were including it in their package. So it was the hotels making the decision rather than the individual tourist.
Son hoteles con una economía mucho más grande que la que pueden tener los guías locales que operan independientemente en el pueblo.
Para nosotros sí, es caro porque ellos creen y entienden que si es en el pueblo pues es mucho más barato. Entonces si cuesta $15 se lo ofrecen en 10, pero no le dan el sticker.
So I think it's important to remember that the program doesn't only rest on the guides and the program coordinators, it also rests on the tourists, and not all of them are as interested as we would think in supporting something like additional costs that go directly towards turtle conservation or turtle monitoring.
¿Encontramos el guía en un restaurante?
¿Les dieron un sticker para ir a la playa?
No por el momento. No sabemos que hay eso.
I'm guessing we maybe got 10-15% compliance. When it actually the traveler had to come up on their own hook and decide that they were going to give the money or not give the money. They were going to go on the beach with or without the sticker.
We're proud of this program in some way, and the other way, we know that there's a work in progress. But the main interesting point in this is that this program changed the focus of the visit to the beach. The focus before was one of consumption, one of entertainment, and it turned from being one of education and one of support and one of engagement. And that engagement took place with the tourist and with the hotel owners.
There's no formula for travelers' philanthropy. It's something that has to be designed according to the circumstances where you are, the product, the community, the type of travelers you attract. I think you have to look at it with a business approach. That you have to have a method around it that works. This is not about cheating or tricking or lying or luring someone into doing it. It's making them see, making them feel and understand that I can be part of this. I can give and it makes a difference. Then you will get a critical mass.
Even as they leave their homes to travel, they're looking forward to making a difference in the destinations that they visit. But most of the time they miss the opportunity to do that because probably the areas, the destinations they end up with or the operator they end up with has no such program. And this is why we have a lot of travelers who stop at trading center and will then give out some shoes, give out some clothes, because it has not been organized. There is no organized system through which they can give.
If we have 2,000 visitors in a year in Basecamp coming to the Mara over the year, I think that over 90% of those are philanthropists. Some of them know it, most of them don't know it. So we're not really turning them into philanthropists, we're sort of just opening up the possibilities of understanding a bit more about the place where you are, about the issues that are going on, and then opening up a possibility in an easy way, simple way, to contribute and making it known that small support, either financial support or in kind, can make a big difference.
This has got to be accounted for separately from the business income, because when it mixes with the business income, then we lose accountability. And when we lose accountability, we disillusion those people who want to help. Before a traveler says that I want to support a borehole or I want to support a school, there has to be information that is made available. And this information should have been prior collected and put together with the help of the community to help identify their needs.
You take them to these projects, you take them to the communities. It can't be theory, it has to be reality. You have to feel it, see it, taste it almost.
I think successful travelers' philanthropy must be based on very, very good information that is presented to the traveler when they want it and when they ask for it, that it should be available for them and it should provide them with an opportunity to make the choices of what they want to support.
It can't be complicated, that you have to go through a lot of processes and filling hundreds of papers and all that. You should be able to see something that you feel, wow, I want to give something to this. It's going to make me feel good, and I think it's a great thing for me to be able to do it. You have to be able to do it simple.
An equitable amount of investment should be put in the people, in developing the people and their capacity, in making them better, and more so in getting them involved so that they can have long-term benefits.
And if there are no people to empower, to capacity build and to train and to develop, the local communities will remain in poverty forever.
Tourism is the only industry that is consumed at source. The clients actually have to come to the source to consume it. And because it takes place in rural areas, it is a #1 opportunity for transforming rural economies into market economies and uplifting the livelihoods of the local people.
Our world needs people to, have expanded worldviews, and you do that by traveling and experiencing different places, different cultures.
When we're approached by things, communities, people, things we see, where we feel it's a void between the lives we live and what we experience. And we realize that sharing some of our wealth, our knowledge, our resources is then filling that space with something fundamentally important to us. And that, to me, is traveler's philanthropy. It is traveling and learning, traveling, understanding, and being able to fill that void, that space that we always look for, with something so simple as buying something or investing or giving. And to me, I think whatever is left of all the theory, that to me is philanthropy. It's a basic need.
Instead of sitting in 10 workshops in big hotels and talking about the benefits that could come. Go and do it. Do one of them.